Luther College football coach Joe Troche joining us, looking back at last week's game. Simpson came to town, and the Storm looked pretty impressive in a win over you guys. Joe, what were the takeaways from last Saturday?
Yeah, Reed's doing a great job. Inherited a really talented team, and he's doing a good job taking that talent and building around it. They're kind of hitting their stride right now. I think, if you get them earlier in the year, they're a little bit different. And they're really getting the most out of their guys. Their guys came out fired up, did a great job. And defensively, it took us a little while to get settled in. We couldn't get off the field on third down. Really unfortunate, just uncharacteristic stuff. This was our worst game in terms of tackling, just not tracking the hip and short striding as we get closer to the ball carrier. Just the little things that we typically do really, really well, we didn't. And it led to two, quick touchdowns, and then we shut them down from there. And then we fumbled. It was a fumble or interception. I can't remember. Before the half, we were backed up, and we couldn't get a stop. And so that would have been big, going to half 14-0 instead of 21-0. And as we were bringing in a new quarterback and trying to do some different things. So it was a tough game, but our guys battled the whole way. They don't care if it's the opening kickoff or the last drive of the game. Everything's important to them, which I love. So. That was good for us.
On the defensive side of the ball, a couple of your linebackers continue to put up really good numbers. Tyler Reagan, now the leading tackler in the American Rivers Conference. Also, Braden Daly, second in the league in tackles for loss. They both have put up some good numbers last Saturday. How have those two developed as the season has gone on?
Yeah, Daly's a sophomore who is very violent. The guys really rally around him and look up to him to make plays. He's a great teammate and just does some things for us that other guys, really can't do. And he's got two guys behind him that are really good too. So we feel true freshmen. So really excited about them as they continue to learn and grow from him. But he's a great player, very violent, kind of an old school middle linebacker. And then Tyler Reagan is somebody who, halfway through fall camp, we moved from the offense to defense and really was not expected to play until our senior got hurt. And so he's gone the distance since our first game. Extremely coachable, phenomenal teammate, right? You tell him something once and he gets it fixed. And so sometimes we forget about him because he's just there and he's consistent. No, he's done a phenomenal job too. And we're excited. Again, we got, upwards of 8 guys starting on defense that are freshmen, sophomores, and they're going the distance, right? We're putting them in some tough situations, and they're just responding at a high level, and they continue to fight, and they don't point fingers. I've been really impressed, especially with those two.
And you played a couple of quarterbacks on the offensive side last week with Noah Millhouse and Grady Ross, both getting their first real in-depth time behind center. Assess their performance last week.
Yeah, one thing I loved about Noah was his ability to control the offense, right? Get guys lined up, get our shifts going, get our motions, step in the pocket. There's a screenplay that all we got to do is, our O-line should be taking one shuffle and release instead of two. We got 2 guys for 1 guy. We don't execute the block. And Noah sits in the pocket long enough to get the throw off, and he just gets crushed. So, we're getting some things from him that we weren't getting before that we loved. Really want to continue to build around him and Grady, who, did a phenomenal job running the ball. And again, this is an 18-year-old that hasn't played college ball. And so he was really just kind of getting the rust off. And you saw as the game got going, he was playing a lot more confident and not waiting for routes to open up. But 2 totally different quarterbacks that we really like and do different things. And we'll continue to build around our guys. And God, I loved how our offensive line really rallied around both of them, and their teammates just supported them throughout. So it was good to see that our team step up around them.
And when it comes to changes on the offensive side of the ball, I know the quarterback often gets way too much credit and way too much blame, but it's really an 11-man unit that needs to come together for things to click on that side of the ball. Fair to say?
Absolutely. It's a quarterback system, and it starts and kind of finishes there, but you got to protect them. We've got to catch the routes that are thrown to us. Our receivers got to block. It's just not, hey, go out for routes and we're not going for route, take the play off. Everybody's invested, right? Our backs are in the protection. The tight ends are in the protection, go out for routes. So we can sit there and point fingers, but our guys see it every Sunday, right? We're one block away, we're two guys away. And so what I'm proud of those guys and what the message was last week and carry over this week is don't look outside the building for answers. The answers are here, right? We need all 11 to go all in, do their job, and go 11 for 11. And we probably had our best week of practice last week. We've had a really good week of practice this week. And our guys have got a lot of energy. For being 0-7, you would not know that being at our practices.
And this week, you take your final road trip of the season as you head down to obviously a very talented team towards the top of the American Rivers Conference. What impresses you the most about the Hawks?
Just depends on what we're looking at, right? If they're on offense, might be the best receiving core in the league. They got two quarterbacks that are different, and both are good. Their running backs are misleading. They don't have a lot of big runs, but they consistently are getting 5-6 yards a pop, which is, worse than I think seeing a guy who's got a couple 20-yard runs. I mean, they're just hard nosed. That offensive line's fun to watch. I think their tight ends are great at blocking. I mean, across the board, they're sound, and defensively, they're just so talented. Pick your poison. And their staff's done a phenomenal job. Stakers is doing a really good job there. And, if they went out, they should get in that large bid. But that's a really talented team that had a great opportunity to beat Wartburg. So we got our hands full, but I'm excited for the challenge.
Yeah, I noticed a couple of things on your social medias this week. A few of your guys getting involved in the community. A few of your guys hung out at John Klein, hanging out with some elementary kids. How important is it from a program perspective to make sure your players and your student athletes get involved in things that are bigger than themselves?
Yeah, it's what makes Luther unique. It makes Decor unique. I mean, it's part of our recruiting process that you have to want to be a part of this community. If not, it's not like a major city where there's all these different things to do. So if you value community, you want to be a part of the village, this is a place. And Coach Souza, who's got two kids in the school system, has spearheaded that. And so that was great for him to hang out with his daughter and get our players around her and her friends. And some of my neighbors' kids were there. And then on Saturday, we're coming up to me. And I was like, oh, so excited to see them. They're like, hey, where's number 0? Where's this guy? They wanted to see the guys that came out to play football with them. And so, we want to be seen in the community. We want to be seen in the community doing things the right way. And we want to inspire folks to come play for us. And it starts there.
All right, Coach, hopefully you can take steps forward this week as you make a trip down to Cedar Rapids, final road trip of the year. Keep your guys healthy. We wish best of luck come Saturday.
Thanks, Aaron. We'll see you next week.
Joe Troche, head coach of the Luther College Norse.